Facebook. Shout out YouTube. This is the Affairs of Men. Today is March 22nd, 2021. We'll be going over Google Chrome, the dangers of Google Chrome. We're going to be going over Christopher Dorner reincarnated and the vaccine, the racial disparity between a vaccine hesitancy. White people are now becoming very skeptical of the vaccine. All right. And then if I have time, talk about Spook That's Out by the Door. Anyway, so just real quick, I'll just say this real quick. My favorite movie was Spook That Sat by the Door, right? It was made during the blaxploitation time. So you're talking about like, what was that, the 70s? Has anybody seen that movie? The Spook That Sat by the Door? Anybody seen that movie? All right, let me tell you something. That movie was so gangster. Oh, you read the book? Oh man, Islam to the City, man. Islam to the City. Shout out to you. Damn, shout out to you. Damn, read the book. That's gangster, man. Shout out to you. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that before, man. That's what's up, man. So that movie was actually banned. They banned the movie. That movie was banned. Yo, I'm gonna follow Steph. Steph, you're part of the force. I've seen you come here many times. Shout out to the Steph. All right. Oh, shout out to bro, that dude. He's back. I'll follow the city too. All right. So now that movie Spook That Sat by the Door. Fuck it, man. I'm gonna get into it right now. We're gonna lead with that, man. Let's lead with it, man. Yo, man, just follow the spirit of Allah, man. This is, you know what I mean? Let's write this down. So the Spook That Sat by the Door. Duplicate shot. Yeah, it's a movie that I think Linnell and Bossman would like for sure, man. I just have a feeling. Let's see. Wait, no, that's not it. All right, the Spook That Sat by the Door. Let me go back to caffeine. Author is Sam Greenlee. Thank you, Sam Greenlee. Okay, where did I put that? Okay, I shared it with my brother. See, I had no intention on going live with this one, but freak it. Let's do it. All right. All right, here we go. Okay, copy link, open in Chrome. Share. Boom, share. Conversations. 424 number. Boom. All right, here we go. We're going to do this one first. We're going to lead. All right. Good evening, brothers and sisters. Miles said good evening, man. Yo, shout out to Miles, man. Shout out to Miles. Yo, the city, if you want to call in and discuss, man, feel free. Feel free, okay? All right, so Lee Daniels, okay. So, all right, now the movie was banned. They didn't want brothers watching that movie, okay? All right, now another thing. I'll explain it in a second. But if the city want to call in, let me put up. If you want the phone number, the city, if you want to call in and discuss, you know what I'm saying, the book that you read, you know what I mean, feel free and we can discuss this. All right, because I did not read the book. So it was banned, right? So this is a time when they were coming out with Dolomite and all that shit, right? Remember, you know what I mean? Anyway, so around that time, right? So what happened was there was a brother, let's just say the movie was banned, and before Nipsey died, Nipsey was going around, you know what I mean, doing interviews talking about his favorite movie being Spook That Sat by the Door. And I thought that was something that he might want to keep to himself. But obviously, he's a gangster. He do his thing his own way. But I knew that would ring bells in Hollywood, right? Because that movie was specifically banned. Why? Why was it banned? Okay, so the premise of the movie, I'm kind of trying to buy time if the brother want to call in. But the premise of the movie was this, that it took place here in the United States of America, right? Dealing with Moorish America, so-called Black America, right? And the main character, I think I'm not sure if he was in the military. I'm not sure if he was in the military. No, I don't. No, it's not a true story. I'm not sure if he was in the military. Not sure, but I do know he got hired by the CIA. Okay, so the main character is a black man who got hired by the CIA, and he was hired, if I'm not mistaken, it's been a while since I've seen the movie. He was hired to do covert things in the black community and worldwide, and he was trained, right? Essentially, what he did was he took his training. He took his training, and then went back. And then he went AWOL. I'm not sure if he faked his death or something. He did something where they didn't know where he was because they were trying to keep tabs on the brother because he had training. He said a black CIA agent drops out and trains black people. Yes. And so what he did was he took the same training that he learned from the CIA about how to make bombs, about how to lay low, urban warfare, how to hide, how to, you know what I mean, do this, do that, you know what I mean, little tricks and all that kind of shit, right? And so what he did was, then he left. He went AWOL, you dig? Then he went to the hood, right? He went to the hood. And then at that, right now, the movie, I'm talking about the movie. Yeah, the movie got banned. It's called The Spook That Sat by the Door. It was a book that the city said he read. And then from the book, they made it a movie, right? The movie was banned in the 70s, so it's going to be hard for you to find it. Now with the internet, you should be able to find it. But I tell you, back in the early 2000s, it was hard to find it. You know what I'm saying? I had to go to underground means, and I got some DVDs. Anyway, so the man, then he took the training of the CIA, and then he trained the brothers in the street. And the brothers in the street, we talking about like convicts, gangsters, and da-da-da-da. And he trained them brothers about how to do guerrilla warfare, and they took it to the police officers. They took it to the establishment, and it was complete anarchy. And that was The Spook That Sat by the Door. Now, it wasn't my favorite movie because I'm an anarchist, or you know what I'm saying, I want to overthrow the government, no shit like that. No, that's not why it was my favorite. The reason why it was my favorite movie is because it showed the value of gathering information and being true to who you are as a nation, right? Because you got to think of it, man. Ever since integration came, you know what I'm saying, the society in general did a brain drain, took us, and we no longer thought about us as a nation within a nation. You know what I mean? We almost forgot the fact that we are a nation within a nation, right? So all of the best minds, all the so-called the best black minds went to work for Google and IBM and shit like that, right? But they didn't take their skills and bring back and help the neighborhood that sorely needed those skills and resources, right? Like, and this is one of the reasons why I shout out LeBron James. I say this all the time. He left Akron. He's obviously an international star, right? He belongs in Los Angeles or New York or Chicago or anywhere like that, right? But he brought his skills and his talent back to Akron to help build up his neighborhood. Now, if we did that through and through, the black nation within America would be in a better position. So I woke up to find out that this movie, Spook That Sat by the Door, they trying to remix it. They trying to hitman. They trying to, you know what I mean? They trying to reload. What he say? Put bullets in the clip and reload the clips that came out of them. You know what I'm saying? So it says, Wyland Noel to headline The Spook That Sat by the Door. A FX pilot produced by the black nation is not always willing to receive the help. It's true. It's true. But you still got to do it anyway, you know? There's enough people, though. Yo, another thing, too, guys, is like revolutions. We don't need 100% of black America to be behind stuff. If you notice, all revolutions, it always starts, all it takes is a few. It takes maybe like 7% of the people. Because you gotta keep in mind, 90% of the population, they just want to exist with whatever's going on. They don't want to change shit. Whatever's going on, they'll accept it and they'll move forward. What it does is it takes like a 10%, a 15% of people who's willing to make things change, and the rest of the people will fall in line. Trust me, they'll fall in line. And so remember, like when there's wars, it don't be like all of, you know what I'm saying, the Muslims fighting all of the Christians. It just be the military people. And then they work it out. You know what I mean? They'll lose like 30% of the guys, they'll surrender, and then they'll move on. You dig what I'm saying? So if you notice that like the Black Civil Rights era, the Black Panther Party, many of these things, it's hard, Ali, too many to try to beat each other. Yeah, it's true. Hey man, it's not, you feel me? It's not an easy task. It's not an easy task, okay? So, you know what I mean? If you want an easy task, man, you know what I mean? You might want to go teach kindergarten. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? All right. So, let's read. Wiley Noel to headline the spook that sat by the door. FX. So shout out to FX. Caffeine. This platform right here is invested by Fox. Okay, and so FX is Fox. So shout out to Fox. A lot of people, they say, "Yo, man, your show is hella you know what I'm saying, racial." You know, a lot of people be like, "Your show is hella black." You know, they basically be like, "White people is scared of you being so black." That's basically what they say, right? And so and I be telling them, I'm be like, "Yo, man, y'all don't understand, man, nigga. Fox, they love the controversial racial stuff. They love that shit. They eat that shit up. They understand the ratings of it. You know what I mean? All right, anyway. So the spook that sat by the door, FX pilot to produce by the lead is now just a pilot. I don't think it's gonna get accepted, but you never know. Like, we're living in a day, though. I was speaking with Cliff, and we're talking about, like, you know what I'm saying, how movies and how we've come a long way. Like, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure in our lifetime we'll see a Minister Louis Farrakhan major motion picture. We probably will see it. You know what I mean? It's like we saw in our lifetime, we saw a Black Panther movie. You know what I'm saying? We saw an all black cast, right? Like, we've actually are having the national discussion on reparations. So who knows what may happen, man? Hollywood is changing, man. So Boomerang. It's very possible that this movie may come into fruition, man. Do y'all think so? All right, so let's go over it. Let's find out what they got to say about it, man. All right. Wiley Noel to headline spook that sat by the door, FX pilot. Insecure alum Wiley Noel has been tapped as the lead in the spook that sat by the door, FX drama pilot based on Sam Greenlee's spy novel, which is executive produced by Lee Daniels. Now, Lee Daniels was the one that Lee Daniels. All right, anybody remember about Lee Daniels? Anybody remember about Lee Daniels? You know what I'm saying? And who he is and the shit he's done? Yo, shout out to LOM. Shout out to Hollow the Don. I got my LOM swag. You dig? Got my LOM swag. Shout out to LOM. Yeah. The butler. You know what I'm saying? The butler. Yeah, he owed Dame Dash money. Empire. You know what I'm saying? Yo. He's a, you know what I mean? He lived, you know what I mean? He's the alternative lifestyle kind of guy, if you know what I mean, right? He's an alternative lifestyle guy. And I didn't think a lot of the alternative lifestyle guys was straight up, you know what I mean, gangster enough to put out the spook that sat by the door. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was going to take like a Master P or some shit like that. You dig? I thought it was going to be somebody like that to put out the spook that sat by the door. So one thing we got to watch out for is how soft. Yo, because spook that sat by the door is, that's radical. I wonder how radical Lee Daniels is planning to get. You know what I mean? Lee Daniels is Mr. Safe. Yeah, I'm not as big as, Mr. Cliff said, I'm not his biggest fan. If he empires it up, it'll be pissed. Yup. Yo, when he says empires it up, what is Cliff saying? when Cliff says if he empires it up, he's talking about adding alternative lifestyle stuff. You know what I'm saying? Commercial. Yeah, exactly. That's what he's saying. Yeah, now FX, Steph says, can't get too crazy for network TV. Well, the thing about FX is definitely not. FX is where Atlanta. Isn't that show Atlanta? Atlanta's fucking good. Y'all niggas like Atlanta? The show? Y'all like that show Atlanta? Oh, man, the city said Empire is a minstrel soap opera. Atlanta's great, said Kilroy. It is. It's well written and all, man. Shout out to the TV series Snowfall. I ain't seen Snowfall, beloved. Yo, FX is gangster, man. What y'all niggas talking about? Y'all niggas talking about Snowfall, Atlanta, spook that sat by the door. What? What else is on FX, man? Yo, please watch Snowfall. It's good. Snowfall is the shit. What? All right, man. Y'all on it? All right, I gotta be on it. The Mayans. Wait. What? There's a show called The Mayans? The show called The Mayans. They're even trying to scoop up those black dollars. Damn, man. Yo, FX, man. Yo, man. Yo, for what it's worth, Fox, they keep it gangster, though, bro. Fox keep it gangster. A lot of times, Fox News goes against our best interests, but they know what they're doing, man. Snowfall is loosely based on Freeway Ricky Ross without his input. Interesting. Interesting. Whew, getting hot as a motherfucker, beloved. Yo, Snowfall is the shit. I had to take off that shirt too. All right. Damn, anyone familiar with the Resurrection Etrical show on Netflix? Miles, stop fucking with me, Miles. Miles, stop playing with me. Miles, stop playing with me, Miles. Yes, man, Etrical, yes. I don't know how to pronounce it, but yes. Yo, Miles, stop playing with me. Yes, yes, yes. I didn't think nobody watched that show, beloved. That show, Etrical, right? Etrical, whatever. Imagine him being black, because in history, he is a black Muslim in real life. Those were the Moors fighting in the Crusades. Those were the Moors fighting in the Crusades against the European Christians, man. But obviously Hollywood, they don't make it like that. That's what I've been doing, been researching characters. Yes, man. Yo, that show is basically a show about the Crusades, about us getting into it with the Christians and yeah, I told you, yeah, enslaving Europeans and the Europeans coming back and forth. But here it is though. It's in Arabic, so you got to read everything. What's that shit called when you got to read everything? Man, damn, Miles, shout out to Miles, man. Yo, that was very impressive, brother. Yeah, subtitles, yeah, captions and shit like that. You know what I mean? Etrical. Matter of fact, let me put it up there real quick. Damn, I didn't think, yo, man, that was a bar. That was a bar, Miles. I'll never forget that. Etrical. It's like hella seasons, right? Isn't it like hella seasons? Here we go. Yeah, my wife, she be watching like the European nobility stuff. And then she be like, hey, babe, they be wearing fezzes, man. The black people wearing fezzes and da-da-da-da-da. I be like, yep. Like, they know our history. We the only ones that don't know our history. But yeah, this is it right here. You know what I'm saying? 5 seasons. About 13th century. What was happening in the 13th century, man? It said, oh yeah, the Turkish warriors. These are the Turks. Those are the Turks, right? So the Moors was on the west. The Turks was on the east. You know what I'm saying? We had an Islamic empire. When a good deed, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, we were fighting with swords and all that shit. Yeah, it's Netflix, beloved. Winner of 5 Golden Palm Awards. Wow. 13th century Anatolia. I believe there's one time when they try to end up going to Andalusia. Man, they really respect religion and family. Bro, that's us. That's us. But look, we lost those wars. Then we got enslaved, and now we think we're Christian. Like, those wars you're watching, those wars are ongoing, but the latest edition of them we lost and got enslaved, prisoners of wars, and we got Christianized, see the world through Christian eyes. Yeah, man. It was religion. It shows you the importance of religion. You see, today we think religion is just like you could be whatever religion you want to be. All you got to do is just buy the outfit and tell people you're it and you're it. Nah, see, religion was different, man. Religion was a mind state. A religion was, you know what I mean? What's possible. Religion was a collective consciousness. Religion was a world view. You know what I mean? Religion was a, you know what I'm saying? It was a new a number system. It was it was a legal system. Religion was a legal system. A legal system. What's actual legal? Like religion was how inheritance goes, how marriage laws go, right? It's much more than just, you know what I mean? Oh, he put on a shirt and he wears a hat, so he's Buddhist. Nah, it's the whole idea, man. Buddhism is reincarnation and all that shit, right? Anyway. So yeah, man, it's good, man. So yeah, man, they got the Moors in here. Obviously, they got the Moors on some European shit. The same way they got, you know what I'm saying? The same way when you watch the Egyptian movies, they got the Egyptian Hamites. Those are Hamites. They got the Hamites looking like motherfucking French, you know what I mean? Swedes, you know what I mean? You'd be like, damn, nigga, Africa, we ain't did nothing. We ain't did nothing. Damn. All right. So anyway, so back to the spook that sat by the door. Let's find out about that, man. Yo, man, if there's any other movies, man, that y'all want to recommend, especially historical movies and shit like that, or shit that will inspire us, feel free to share. All right, here we go. Written by, oh, you know what? Let me also. Oh, Jamie Foxx played a Moor in Robin Hood. Yeah, he did. He did. Nah, bro. Nah. You added to the conversation, bro. You good, bro. You good, man. I want to show y'all spook set by the door. I want to show y'all the old school. Oh, look, they got the audio book on Audible. They got the audio on Audible. Yo, this man was a gangster, bro. Nipsey said it was his favorite movie of all time. My nigga Nipsey said it was his favorite movie of all time. So here we go, right here. This is the original artwork, man. The Council of Nicaea. Oh yeah, how Christianity was developed and how how they chopped up the Bible and all that shit. Definitely. Jamie Foxx was a Moor in Robin Hood, really. Yes, and also Martin Lawrence was a Moor in The Black Knight. They kept calling him Moor. He was like, I can get used to that name. Yeah, Morgan Freeman. Yeah, see, first of all, he's Morgan Freeman. Remember, these Hollywood names are fake. Like, his name isn't really Jamie Foxx. You dig? Oh yeah, Morehouse. Definitely Morehouse, for sure. Yeah, Morehouse, the House of the Moors. Think of it. It's an all-black men's school. It's one of the oldest. Another thing, these black universities are much older than what they trying to tell you too, man. These black universities is old, man. And they was, you know what I mean? Like, they wasn't set up by no slaves. And yeah, Morgan Freeman. You know what I'm saying? They be, yo, man, you think Wesley Snipes is his real name? You know what I'm saying? You think Whoopi Goldberg is her real name? You know what I mean? It's just as real as T.I. is his name. It's almost as real as Snoop Dogg is his name. It's almost as real as XXXTentacion is his name. Yeah. Whoopi is not no Goldberg. You know what I mean? So yeah, Morgan Freeman. You know what I'm saying? Lawrence Fishburne. They be, you know what I mean? For whatever reason, Jamie Foxx. Because it was Jamie something and Red Fox. It was like Jamie something. I forget who it was. And Red Fox. And he combined it. And so he had Jamie Foxx. You know what I mean? Morgan Freeman. All right. So boom. That spook that sat by the door. This is the VHS. How it looked on the VHS when that came out. And then here it is, like, you know what I mean? A low-key little revolution they was trying to have. Let's go on the tube and let's find it on the tube, man. Just a little piece right here. Yeah, this is Nipsey saying right here. Nipsey Hussle on Spook That Sat by the Door. All right, here we go. This is a full movie. I don't want the full movie, beloved. Here's a little, you know what I mean? Man, I'm feeling good tonight, man. And the females go somewhere. They're basically telling them to spell man. Yeah, nah, cause my homie said, "Yo, man, I went to Morehouse, nigga. It was Morehouse niggas." I went to Morehouse, nigga. It was Morehouse niggas. All right, so yeah, I don't want to get dinged up, but okay, boom. So this is that movie right here. So imagine them remaking this, man. I wonder how they would remake it. Would they remake it on some old school stuff, or would they modernize it? I wonder if they would modernize it, man. You go talk to the Vice Lords and the 8 trays and the Rolling 60s. So yeah, that's the brother right there, man. That's the main character right there, man. And that's, I believe, the CIA operative that was teaching him at the time. You know what I'm saying? Spook that sat by the door, man. They about to remake this joint, man. You heard about it on Affairs of Men. Yeah, I think MLK did go to Morehouse.
How long since you've been in bed? Not since the riot started.
Let me try to find a must-see scene from Spook that sat by the door. Oh, well.
You have to be safe. Safe for who? You're here to protect property, not lives.
Ooh.
Well, that's what it's all about.
Ooh.
You worked hard to get what you got, didn't you?
Whoa.
And you want to keep it just like I do?
Whoa, shit. Listen, you think because you got a badge and I got a couple of degrees, that makes a difference? Do you know what white folks call people like you and me in private? Niggas, dogs. Niggas.
Hey, hey, hey. I've heard you talk like that since we were in college.
Well, I'm sorry, man. Maybe the last 3 nights been a little bit much.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? It kind of remind me of oh, look, boom. I think this is Chicago, right? The city? It was based in Chicago. Noble Draw League called Chicago the Mecca. All right. All right, stop. All right, boom. So let's read the article. Let me read the article while that plays. All right. All right. Written by Leah Dana Jackson and to be directed by Gerald McMurray. Hey Cliff, can you record that for me? Save those. Jared McMurray. I want to know, is written by Leah Dana Jackson or any of my friends. Copy that down because I want to research that later. Who was written and directed by? So once again, written by Leah Dana Jackson and to be edited by Jared McMurray. So written by Leah Jackson and directed by Jared McMurray. The Spook That Sat by the Door tells at the fictional story of Dan Freeman, Noel, who had just been hired as the only black operative in the CIA. He is a patriot, a Vietnam vet, and secretly a black revolutionary. The project reunites Noel. Yo, the first thing I think of is like what Mr. Cliff is talking about. Yo, if Lee Daniel makes this movie, man, I bet, watch, they're going to effeminize this guy. They're going to feminize this guy. He's going to be stuck, and I have a feeling he is not, I don't know. I think they're going to, finagle this one. I don't see them making this one like straight gangster like that. I see them watering this one down. I don't know, man. Maybe not. What do y'all think, man? Anyway, he is a patriot of, it's only so much you can say. Anyway, he is a patriot, Vietnam vet, and black revolutionary. The project reunites Noel and McMurray after Noel headlined the 2008 Universal feature, The First Purge. Oh, shit, he's the one that did the Purge movies. Ooh, this shit is about to be a real movie, y'all. It's about to be a real movie. Lee Daniels, the Purge niggas. What? Greenleaf's book was published in 1969 and turned to a feature film in 1973, which Lawrence Cook starred as Dan Freeman. The 2001-2006 FX pilot series orders. The Spook That Sat by the Door is produced by 20th Century Television. It was optioned through Daniels Inclusion Fund. Daniels, Mark Velez, Jackson McMurray executive produced, and Jackson serves as the showrunner. Noel is known for his role as Daniel on the first 3 seasons of Issa Rae's award-winning HBO's Insecure. In features, he was seen in Stella, the movie Photography, what other movies, okay. Lee gave Noel a shout out after Deadline announced the actor's casting. Welcome aboard, Yalan Noel, the spook that sat by the door. Oh my God, I don't believe this. Lee Daniel is an operative of the demasculation of black men. I agree. I agree. I agree. That's why I'm worried about this. I agree. Who else is one of them agents? Tyler Perry? Oprah Winfrey? You know who's not one of them agents? David Chappelle. You know who is one of those agents? Jamie Foxx. Wow. So there it is, man. So it's not much behind it, except the fact that it's gonna be a real movie, y'all. The Spook That Sat by the Door, man. All right, man. So if anybody want to discuss that, you know what I mean, while I prepare the next topic, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Shout out to that brother right there. All right. So if anybody wants to call in and discuss that while I set up the next topic, feel free and go ahead. All right. Let's go with Christopher Dorner, man. Let's go with Christopher Dorner. Thank you for calling Circle 7 Media, brother. What's your name and where you from, man?
What up? It's Mr. Cliff in the building.
Yo, what's up, man?
Here we go. Since you on movies, I wanted to hurry up and catch you before you switch to the next topic.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to get this. Have you ever seen or heard of Three the Hard Way?
Nah.
It's got Jim Brown. It's got your boy Jim Kelly, the Kung Fu dude, and Fred Williamson. You know those names, old school names?
Yes.
They're like blaxploitation names.
Sound like a gangster ass movie.
Yeah, well, basically, there's a secret plot of like black genocide. And they hit like Washington D.C., Detroit, and Los Angeles, and they put some sort of serum in the water systems. And it's like
real quick. Did you see the movie I accidentally had playing behind me?
I just looked away because I was looking at something else.
It was the movie that you told me about. It was Snow the Bluff.
Oh yeah, Snow the Bluff.
Yeah, that was the irony of it. The irony that movie. Cliff told me to watch that movie, and then it ends up playing on accident behind me when he calls in. Damn, man. Anyway, man, go ahead, brother.
You know, they had that Flint water scare some time ago.
Yo, Chris, I'll call you next. Okay, Chris, I'll call you when Cliff is over. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump off soon. Too,
no, take your time.
It's an old school movie. You can probably see it on YouTube or something low key. But Three the Hard Way, not the song by Bahamadia, but just but yeah, man.
What about it?
It was crazy. It's just like almost like three kind of superhero, blaxploitation superhero type brothers who basically had to join forces and stop this plot. To fuck with water in urban communities.
Wow.
It was like just a racial plot to like, you know what I mean, fuck with black people in these communities. and it's just wild because it's some '70s movie.
Yeah.
But then you turn around and like Flint, Michigan had a big issue with their
Whoa.
water, and I believe it was Flint, Michigan on the movie, if I remember correctly. I know they did Detroit, Michigan, they did DC, and they did LA. But it's just interesting that was like something that was put out there.
And
And if you ever saw
so
the movie Black Dynamite that was made,
Black Dynamite?
Black Dynamite before the cartoon, it's like a spoof of blaxploitation movies, and they pretty much pulled from that movie when it came to the serious plot to take out black people or like to do something to black people. But yeah, man. But I wanted to just, for people listening, if y'all ever saw the movies, man, you should check them out. Three the Hard Way. It's not the best acting. It's cool. It has some real good parts to it, but it's just an interesting plot. And it's kind of in this lane, except Spook That Sat by the Door got more attention because the thing about that movie, Spook That Sat by the Door,
Yeah.
is like it kind of serves two purposes, right? And I think the original purpose went wrong, and it kind of I'll speak clearly. The brother who works with, I guess, the CIA or whatnot, who's in there learning all the secrets of war and learning the shit that they do, and he's right there as an employee. Then he takes it to his neighborhood and just teaches people like military tactics and all this. To me, I always thought that movie was supposed to scare people from hiring blacks in those positions. Like, this is what's going to happen. if you hire blacks in those positions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, similar to how the Planet of the Apes was really about monkeys. It's like, oh, be careful when the Planet of the Apes, they're going to take over. And
Yeah. Good point.
it's like the day after that movie dropped, MLK got shot. You know what I mean?
Wow. Is that
Some
right?
people blame it on that. I don't think that was it, but the fear was there.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think that's probably why that movie got green lighted. But then on the flip side, when his brother start peeping it, it's like, yeah, let's take this out of here. Don't give nobody the blueprint for how to,
Wowzers.
start some sort of revolution or whatnot.
You think so, huh?
Well, yeah, because it goes back to what we talked about on this new movie, The Judas and the Black Messiah.
Yes.
You know, because
Yes.
they're trying to not have any black messiahs. Like they told you, you know what I mean? He told us this. That was a true statement he made. What's the name? Dude from the FBI.
J. Edgar Hoover.
Yeah, exactly. A real statement made. So, when those movies come out like that, like there's a reason behind all of them.
Yes.
So, I want y'all to pay attention to that. But that's all for now, bro.
Okay.
All right, y'all stay up.
All right, brother. All right, brother. Thank you, man.
That is nothing.
All right, peace. Yo, if it's a lot of new people, make sure you hit the star and follow. There's a lot of new people here. Make sure you follow, okay?
I'm sorry, but the person you called has a voicemail.
All right. Well, I wait for Chris to call. Chris said he wanted to call in. All right. So just real quick, man. The Spook That Sat by the Door is going to be released at look like a major movie, and I thought that was something very interesting. All right. Bossman says I can only find it on YouTube, but I don't want to watch it on there. You're talking about Spook That Sat by the Door? I think that's what you're talking about. Spook That Sat by the Door. All right. Well, Christopher Dorner is in the news, y'all. Christopher Dorner is in the news. So if you don't remember, we discussed, we did a whole show on Christopher Dorner. We actually reread his manifesto. Okay. All right. For anybody out there, I guess, are you guys familiar with Christopher Dorner? I guess if you're not, you probably won't say, but is anybody out there, not familiar with Christopher Dorner? Okay, good. So no? Okay, good. I like to break it down. All right, matter of fact, I have his manifesto right here. All praise due to Allah. Inshallah. I have his manifesto right here. All right. All right. This is Christopher Dorner. You don't know who he is because you don't live in Los Angeles. Okay? All right, my bad. Almost stepped on all that. I don't want to step on that shit. All right, my bad. All right. Christopher Dorner, you may not know who he is because he lived and died in Los Angeles. So, Chris, if you want to call in, man. All right. Now, who is Christopher Dorner? Christopher Dorner is this man here. Okay? Matter of fact, let's read who he was on Wiki. So it's actually the perfect segue. The spook that sat by the door to Christopher Dorner. Is that not the best segue? Tell me, is that not the best segue? For those who know that Christopher Dorner, he's the real life spook that sat by the door. Right? It just hit me. What a fucking segue. All praise due to Allah, man. All right. Christopher Dorner. Oh, we should go over his astrology chart too. Christopher Jordan Dorner, June 4th, 1979. He died February 12th, 2013. Was a Los Angeles police officer who, beginning in February 3rd, 2013, committed a series of shootings in Orange County, Los Angeles County, Riverside, and San Bernardino County, California. The victims were law enforcement officers and the daughter of former police captain. Dorner killed 4 people and wounded 3 others. On February 12th, Dorner died during a standoff in San Bernardino after a shootout in a cabin in the San Bernardino Mountains. A manifesto posted by Dorner on Facebook declared an unconventional and asymmetric warfare upon the Los Angeles Police Department and their families and their associates, unless the LAPD admitted publicly that he was fired in retaliation and for other things too. In 2 separate incidents during the manhunt, police shot. Okay, now, so that's who he was, right? All right, now, yes, I ended up reading hella pages in his manifesto. Okay, so basically, like he was a police officer who was by his standards was a good. Now, I need to be clear. I'm stating this not to glorify any sort of violence. I am not glorifying violence or promoting it. What I'm doing is I am documenting history that happened as a reality. Okay, as a reality, this actually did happen, and he left a manifesto, and we're reading this for research purposes. Okay, all right. So So he, by his standards, he said he was a good man, right? Who was a police officer, and he started noticing all kind of fuck shit. You know what I mean? Excuse my language. All kind of fuck shit, right? He noticed that the white police officers is mistreating the men. I don't know what you mean, boss man. I didn't get that one. So So he saw a lot of stuff that didn't jive with his spirit, right? And so what happened was he saw a lot of police officers doing unsavory things. And so he decided to be a good guy. Hey, I'm going to be a good guy and I'm going to report this. And then he noticed that once he reported it, oh man, it started fucking with his career. Okay. He noticed that he wasn't getting promotions, and then he noticed things like the police officers who was a part of the Rampart scandal, which was like a huge scandal out here. He noticed that the same police officers, the exact same police officers that were involved in the Rodney King beating, that they got those that didn't get fired, which was hardly any, they got promoted. So he was uncovering a culture within the LA Police Department. Remember, LA Police Department is the biggest gang in Los Angeles, right? And so, yeah. And so what he did was he made a manifesto. In this manifesto is a must read. And I promise you that as long as I have a platform, we will read his manifesto at least once a year. Okay? Because he stated he spoke to the media, he spoke very eloquently, and he's basically saying, look, man, like I'm going, like, right now I'm targeting you guys because violence is the last thing. I tried to be a good guy. I tried this, I tried that. Nobody's listening to me. He was just like, tell the people about why do you target poor neighborhoods and beat the people up because you know they don't have legal representation. You know, he was even saying that the second generation Latino police officers, when they're around their buddies, you know what I mean, the white police officers, they're trying to get in good with their graces, they'll mistreat the immigrant population because they don't have legal representation or papers, right? So he's basically saying he's uncovering a full culture of fuck shit that's happening in Los Angeles Police Department. And because of that, he was railroaded, okay? So now, that's who Christopher Dorner is, okay? So, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know, he talked about growing up. He brought receipts. And so that's what this is. So, he was in the news again out of nowhere. Out of nowhere in Los Angeles, he popped up on a billboard. So, let's find out why. Okay? All right. Billboard thanking first responders featuring images of Christopher Dorner sparks outrage. Uh-oh, so you got somebody trolling. Disgraced LA police officer Christopher Dorner went on a killing spree in 2013 before dying in Big Bear Cabin. Now, in Big Bear Cabin, all right, first of all, the manhunt was real, okay? Like, it was real life, Grand Theft Auto. You know what I mean? When you start bucking at the police and next thing you know it's a manhunt, the manhunt was real. Yo, this one man caused terror through Los Angeles. You know what? Actually, you know what I want to do? I want to replay a news episode back then. Okay, when they said that was February 2000. Let's see, February. Here, let's do this. Let's do Christopher Dorner news. Christopher Dorner news, February 2013. All right. Okay, here. Let's just play one. I don't want it when he died. I want it when he was out, like, cracking. And he was causing terror. All right, here's one. Let's try this one.
We have an update for you on the manhunt in California for Chris Dorner, the former cop accused of targeting fellow.
R.I.P. to Elgin Baylor, man. Shout out to the Lakers, man. Shout out to Elgin Baylor. He was before our time, though. You know what I mean?
Police officers and their families. Tonight, more than 700 tips have streamed in. There is still a $1 million reward. We have an update for you on the manhunt in California for Chris Dorner, the former cop accused of targeting fellow police officers and their families. Tonight, more than 700 tips have streamed in. There's still a $1 million reward, the biggest in LAPD history.
Whoa.
ABC's Pierre Thomas has the latest right now.
Today, suspected cop killer Christopher Dorner was charged with murder. He now faces the death penalty if captured and convicted.
Shots, multiple times.
The capital charges involve the murder of Riverside officer Michael Crane, gunned down in an ambush last Thursday. He was married with 2 children, ages 10 and 4.
Every law enforcement officer in Southern California is in danger of being shot or killed.
Wow.
And this warning to the public.
Don't think it's just about protecting cops. This man is a threat to every person in Los
No, he
Angeles.
wasn't.
A city in fear is fighting back, offering a $1 million reward for
$1
Dorner's capture
million.
and conviction. Police have received more than 700 tips, including one that led them to this Lowe's Sunday night. The shooting spree began about a week ago when Monica Kwan and her fiancé were shot to death in a parking lot. An alleged execution by Dorner, who was angry at Kwan's father, a former Los Angeles police captain.
To have your family targeted because they're
Shit
related
got
to you,
real.
that is absolutely terrifying.
ABC News has learned that a man claiming to be Dorner has called Kwan's father to taunt him, telling the grieving dad he should have done a better job protecting his daughter. Police have vowed to
shit.
catch Dorner, but for now, the city can only hope the shooting doesn't start again.
Wow,
Pierre
man.
Thomas, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Wow. 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 So I just want to just give, you know what I mean, as we time travel, you know what I mean, and just you see, you know what I mean, the depravity and the crime that and the violence thought he had to do.
Manhunt for a cop killer. It unfolded across 5 Southern California counties.
It's
The case of
despicable.
LAPD officer Christopher Dorner brought tragedy and fear. Now it is providing lessons.
Our Carter Evans was caught in the middle of the shootout in Dorner's final hours. He's in Los Angeles with an early look at the most authoritative review of the events to date. Carter, good morning.
So, all right, now, just real quick. So what happened was, when they found out where he was, he was not going to trial. He was not going to be arrested, okay? When they found out who he was, you know what they did? He was in a so Big Bear is a what is that like a resort? What is that called? It's isolated. It's out in the woods. It's isolated out in the woods where, you know what I mean, it's not a lot of people. You see? Okay? Boom, out in the woods or whatever. So when they found out where he was, they did not, I repeat, did not go in to arrest the man. You know what they did? They fired mad shots in there, and then they burned that motherfucker, bro. They just burned it. They just burned it, bro. It was like, nigga, like either you're going to run out and catch a hot one, or you're going to catch a hot one. Real shit. And so that was the situation, man. The LAPD was not playing no games. It was a ski resort in the mountains. That's right. You know what I mean? And a lot of conspiracy theories is saying, wait a minute, like, how do we know it was him? You know what I'm saying? Yo, was that Christopher Dorner when they said, I think now what I'm about to say may not be facts. So just please, can y'all give me a, you know what I'm saying, a pass? This may not be facts. But what I heard was they sent in like a robot that like had artillery, you know what I'm saying? So like a drone that had like eyes and shit like that, and that can shoot. So obviously, if you shoot back, you don't kill you know what I mean, a police officer, a human being. And I believe it. Anybody remember that part of the story to be true? That it was like a robot, a drone that went in there. And remember, that was in 2013. That was one of the first times we heard about something like that. And so, the manhunt, Los Angeles was buzzing. People was like, yo, Christopher Dorner. It was kind of like Queen and Slim, right? It was like, yo, where is he? You know what I'm saying? He was seen down. Everybody was like, no, he's going to Mexico. A lot of people was like, nah, he's probably in the hood somewhere. It was a folklore. It was folklore. You dig what I'm saying? Like, where is he? What's going on? It was all through the rumorville, man. But yeah, man, he was found getting on boats in like Mexico. He was found in San Bernardino. He was, you know what I mean? He would end up being caught way out in Big Bear. My nigga was tracking. What are you saying, Cliff? You want me to play it? Is mistaken? Is that a mistaken good or mistaken bad?
Tonight we are waiting to hear if there will be punishment for 8 Los Angeles police officers.
Anticipated?
I did not.
San Bernardino County Sheriff John McMahon says the unrequested response by individual officers was over.
Yeah, this is despicable, man.
Tonight we are waiting to hear if there will be punishment for 8 Los Angeles police officers who opened fire on a pair of innocent women in the manhunt for cop killer Christopher Dorner. That shootout left their truck riddled with more than 100 bullet holes. 10 News brought you LA Police Chief Charlie Beck admitting the officers were wrong. There's breaking news on 10 News.
That's right. I remember that.
Reporter Dan Haggerty.
They were so spooked out. They were so spooked out. Travis says a lot of black women was talking about how they would take him in to hide. Yo, that is so true. Yo, the police was so spooked out that cause it was, everybody was like, yo, there's a kind of car, there's a car. Like I forget whatever idea it was. Oh, there's a black car, but whatever it was, let's just say hypothetically, it was a black sedan. Everybody in LA was like, nigga, if you drove a black sedan, you was not driving that day. Okay? But whatever, there was somebody, shout out to B&G Palmer. There was thank you for the follow. Matter of fact, I need more people to follow. You know what I'm saying? If you're enjoying this content, it's a lot of new people. Can you please follow? Thank you, the city. I appreciate that. Finally. Mr. JS, SB Stacks, I need that follow. You dig? I need that. Anyway, yeah, the DC sniper shit. It was very similar. And so whatever happened, somebody fit the description. And some police officers lit that motherfucker up 100 times. And that's what this is. But they was wrong. And I believe it was like a million. If I'm not mistaken, it was like either a $2 or a $27 million lawsuit they end up filing for. That's how spooked out they were.
Admitting the officers were wrong.
SB Stacks, thank you.
On 10 News at 5. Well, tonight, 10 News reporter Dan Haggerty is at the Point Loma Hotel that was once at the center of the investigation with
movies, The Negotiator, 16 Blocks, 21 Bridges, Bad Cops versus Good Cops.
It'll be a year ago Friday when police swarmed this naval base hotel looking for Christopher Dorner when they found out he had stayed the night there. And still, the events of that terrible week are being sorted out. By the time Christopher Dorner had been spotted in San Diego at this Point Loma hotel, or trying to steal a yacht from a man at gunpoint down the street, or dropping his ID and badge near Lindbergh Field, he was branded a cop killer, accused of murder 3 times over.
2 Los Angeles police officers were ambushed.
Late Tuesday, LAPD Chief Charlie Beck talked about the shootings, and the one who says police screwed up when they opened fire on the wrong truck, shooting and wounding 2 women delivering Torrance, California.
This one could be anywhere from extensive retraining up to termination.
He says 8 officers are to blame for firing on the truck that barely matched the description
the
one Dorner was spotted in.
Scared.
They wanted to be the judge, jury, and executioner
right.
for Dorner.
That's right.
Jonas represents the women whose truck was hit with about 100 bullets.
What?
Officers were guarding the home of a fellow officer.
And still didn't kill her.
They believed was a target of Dorner's.
What?
Somewhat understandable, because this man had taken on the police, taken on their families. He was a murderer.
A dangerous man who went down
and he was
fighting
black.
the police until the end, taking his own life during a shootout in Big Bear. But still, Chief Beck said those circumstances were no excuse for this.
I sympathize with the officers, but I have a very high standard for the application of deadly force.
Emotionally and mentally.
Yeah, you shooting up motherfucking delivery paper people, man.
A $4.2 million settlement from the city. No specifics yet on the punishment the officers involved will face. In Point Loma tonight, Dan Haggerty.
All right, so why are we talking about this? Okay. The reason why is in Los Angeles over the weekend, I'll find out the details, but within the last week, Christopher Dorner popped up on our billboards. So you got to imagine, in Los Angeles, Christopher Dorner on billboards, that's going to create some sort of panic, right? And so that's exactly what happened. All right. Let's actually read. Fucking ads.
Taco.
Ah, no. No disrespect to you, brother. No disrespect to Elgin Baylor. Rest in peace to you, brother. We trying to get in. We trying to get the Dorner information. I just had those today.
A billboard with personalized COVID-19 first responders has generated some controversy.
You saw that?
Questionable images.
NBC4's John Caddy's Klimak has more now on this controversy and reaction to it.
Now y'all got better context.
Disgusting.
Look away for a second and you miss it. By the time we even got on scene, it was gone. But here it is. Police officer. Which turned out to match an acronym of a disparaging slogan targeting police.
Oh my!
The face is unmistakable.
Oh my God!
Three of which were law enforcement officers, and they have spouses, family members, and friends that are going to be forced to live the acts of Dorner for the rest of their lives. So I was pretty disgusted by it.
Oh my God!
Officer Christopher Dorner, the target of a 2-week manhunt, leaving a trail of death and fear in its wake in February of 2013. It made headlines around the world. NBC4 viewers spotted that digital billboard in at least 3 places, off the 405 in Compton, on the 10 freeway near the 605, and even in Orange County.
We don't take this like blaming on our oversight, not our heart.
The company behind the billboard says it was part of an affordable campaign to let regular people thank first responders in the aftermath of the COVID pandemic. $20 got your picture and a message posted on multiple billboards across.
Wow. It was our intentions to do good, but as Grandma used to say, no good deed goes undone without some.
Yo, GMB Blicky, you gotta send that.
Messages from WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange and fugitive former CIA agent Edward
Thank you,
Snowden
truckers.
mixed in with thoughtful messages to real-life pandemic.
Yo, you gotta send it to my this number here.
It was not a personal attempt on our part or anybody's part to hurt the families that have already been hurt.
But Dorner's is now gone. The company saying it was removed the moment the error was noted. But it's also led to the end of the campaign itself, which raised thousands of dollars for local fire departments.
Dang.
John Caddy's Klimak, NBC4 News.
Yo, troll shit, huh? Troll. So I'm glad that I took the time to explain who he was, so the people not in LA, they can get an understanding of what that was. Wow. So that was trolling, man. Wasn't an error to me. Yeah, nah. Somebody did it. It was some local guy. Some guy was like $20. I'm about to troll him. I'm about to put Christopher Dorner, man. Wow. A digital billboard with personalized COVID-19 thank you messages to first responders has generated controversies as it featured an image of killer LAPD cop killer disparaged slogan targeting police. Yo, what was the slogan that? Because they said it was a slogan that was like blotted out. What was that? What was that slogan? It was probably like what, like F12? Oh, all cops. What is it? ACAB maybe? All cops are bastards maybe? What was it? They said it was an acronym. I think it was ACAB, huh? I just thought it was disgusting, says Lieutenant Craig, F12, Craig Lally, LAPD lead president. He murdered 4 people. Okay, all right. So yeah, that was it, man. I just wanted FTP. Yeah, probably FTP. Probably FTP. It was probably FTP. So yeah, man, I just want to, you know what I mean, take time to show that. What a segue. You know what I mean? Spook that sat by the door to Christopher Dorner. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I guess, Blicky, you wanted to send something in, man. There was something, you send it in. Oh, that's a fire ass picture, man. Yo, hey Cliff, I didn't see that. Yo, this is a fire ass picture of Jamie Foxx the Moor. Jamie Foxx the Moor. This is how we look when we was Moors, man. Jamie Foxx the Moor. That's a fire ass picture, man. You know what I'm saying? We were the Moors, y'all. You know what I mean? Which is, yeah, I saw it, GMB. Which is a national distinction. You know what I mean? Anyway. All right, let's see. I don't want to show anything that's graphic. I can't show graphic. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like I have to. You dig what I'm saying? Like caffeine holds it to like a standard. You know what I mean? Let me see.
Line break.
Yeah, nah, I'm not gonna play it. Thank you for sending it, but I'm gonna be safe and make sure. You know what I mean? It's a dash cam of Dorner. That's enough of Dorner, man. We talked about it. You know what I'm saying? That's enough of that, man. You know, we're not glorifying, you know, the criminals. All right. Thank you for sending that, though. SB Stacks, I appreciate the follow. Morgan Freeman played a Moore in another Robin Hood movie. All right, man. Yeah, that's a fresh ass picture, man. Hendrix, what's up? All right. Oh, it's been a great show so far, man. You guys is giving good information, sharing, going back and forth. All right. I know, huh, Miles? I know he does. That's a good one. That's a good one. He does. Oh, shout out to iTraveler. For all those that don't know, Craig is iTraveler. So Craig that comes in on Sundays, that's iTraveler in the message. In the messages. Anybody want to call in? Feel free to call in. I'm about to move the number, so you might want to write that number down. You know what I mean? Anybody want to call in? Feel free. I'm about to move the number, so right now is a good time if you want to call in. Oh, Forbes, you're gonna make me pay for it? Oh, shucks, man. Damn. Damn. Damn, Forbes, you making me pay for it? I guess I should, because I technically do a news show, and I need news content. Oh, wait, I already did pay for it. Islam, I guess I already did pay for it. Wait, no, I didn't. Ah, shish kebab, man. Damn, all right, Forbes, you got money out of me, man. All right, at least can I not get ads? I'm paying for Forbes, so y'all don't have to, okay? I'm paying for Forbes, so y'all don't have to, man. Circle 7 to Force. That's what's up. All right, shout out to everybody on Facebook. Shout out to YouTube. And shout out to Caffeine. He said, shoot the login. All right. Boom. Nation of Gods and Earths. No, I'm not. I am not a member of Nation of Gods and Earths, but I shout out to all 5%ers. Shout out to all black Muslims, whether they're 5%ers, Nation of Islam, FOI, Moore Science Temple. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the black Muslims, even the Orthodox. You know what I mean? I'm not really down with the Orthodox so as much. You know what I mean? I like the American form of Islam because we're Americans. You know what I'm saying? All right. All right. So this following was sent to me. Not necessarily. Yo, I used to have a I used to like on my YouTube page, like the YouTube page now. You know what I mean? That I post these videos on. You know what I mean? I have like maybe like 6,000 subscribers, and it's not because of this content. It's because I used to do tech reviews. I used to do like unboxings and, you know what I mean, tech reviews and shit like that. And I used to call myself the Hood Tech Man and stuff. You know what I mean? I actually ended up having a cell phone store. I used to buy and sell cell phones and iPads and computers, and it was a very lucrative business, man. Very lucrative, did pretty well, activations, things of that nature. I was big into tech, right? And so because of that, even to this day, people hit me up on Facebook and they'll, you know, or Google or whatever, Twitter, they'll be like, hey man, what you think about the new blah 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 blah? What you think about, you know what I mean, the Galaxy blah 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 blah, the iPhone blah 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 blah, you know what I mean? Like, what do you think? And so a friend of mine had an issue in terms of like privacy, right? Hold on a second. Oh, M and Zagul walked in. The moment I talk about how I had a cell phone store, the man I had a cell phone store with popped up. Yo, that's the second time that happened. Yo, this is wild. That's wild, man. That's fucking wild, man. That's fucking wild. Yo, Matt, I just brought it up, and then I just seen you. And yo, when's the last time you logged in here, bro? When's the last time you logged in here, Matt? Menzegul, when's the last time you logged in, bro? The alignment of the universe. No. It's been a minute. I need a number. When's the last time? At least what? I want you to say it because I need it, you know what I mean? It's been at least what? Come on, man. Nah, it's taking too long. He was here last week, but that before a couple weeks. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Bro ain't been on here in about a month, okay? And then the moment I say that, and this is first time coming on today, the moment I say it, yo, whatever's going on, y'all, be in tune, man. Be in tune with the spirit, man. You know what I mean? So anyway, so dealing with this phone thing, somebody hit me up and was like, yo, man, my phone, oh yeah, I wanted to check something. Yeah. Somebody hit me on Facebook Messenger like, yo, I'm having an issue with security, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I hate iPhone, but I may get the iPhone because it's more secure than the Android, because Android is Google. And then she sent me this article. And then, and once again, I was like, I could read it, but I'd rather read it live on air. So that's what I do a lot. I kind of wait, and then so now I'm reading it. So, yeah, so this will be, you know what I mean, interesting. All right. Why you suddenly need to stop using Google Chrome. Now, let's be very, very, very clear. This is not AlexJones.com, right? This is not, you know what I mean, Brother Polite, you know what I mean? This is Forbes, okay? Forbes. I mean, hate to say it, but a reputable company, right? Media. They wouldn't just say nothing just to say it, okay? All right. Why you suddenly need to stop using Google Chrome? If you're among the billions of people using Google Chrome, then Google's stark new data harvesting disclosure should come as a nasty surprise. Worse, a new Chrome revelation, one that hasn't yet made headlines, but which is detailed below, should serve as even more serious warnings. Here's what you need to do now. Ah, shit, here we go. Google is under fire this week after the surprising amount of your data harvested by Chrome has been disclosed. This is a genuine threat to your privacy. Worse, a more serious issue for Google, detailed below, hasn't even made headlines yet. So you might want to drop your stock. Once again, I don't give stock advice. Chrome is totally out of step with Safari, Edge, Firefox, shattering Google's privacy-first web claims. I'm going to be honest with you. I love Google Chrome. The fuck? I love Google Chrome. What the fuck you talking about, right? On, you know what I'm saying? If I'm on an Apple computer, the first thing I do, Google, Chrome.com, download, let's get to Google Chrome, let's get it cracking, right? And so Microsoft Edge, which is like on PCs, I've been rocking PCs recently, right? And so Microsoft Edge is like, hey, use me. I'm good as Google Chrome. Use me, please, please, please. And I'm like, oh, nigga, just get out of here, man. Like, at most use a side bitch. At most. You know what I mean? But then what's actually kind of crazy. Yo, what's up, Matt?
Hello.
Yeah. Thank you for calling in, man.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I can't resist this tech conversation.
Yeah, you're our tech guy. You right, perfect timing, man. So I'm just gonna continue. Yeah, I'm just gonna continue, man. So I got I recently I've been buying a bunch of PCs, right? And then so I'm like, man, yo, Edge is like, yo, man, Edge, man, you're whack, man. I'm off you, right? But then slowly but surely, I was like, you know what? Edge was started begging me. Like, Edge, they were sending me notifications like, please use me. like, hey, Matt, did you get the notification? Well, you already use Edge. But have you got notifications like telling you to use Edge, Microsoft Edge?
No, because as you said, I do already use it.
Okay. All right. So I'm like, so Microsoft is basically like, listen, if you like Google Chrome, you'll like us too. And so I said, you know what? Let me try. You know what? Microsoft Edge is literally the same thing as Google Chrome. It's literally the same. Like, no, literally, Microsoft said, fuck it. Instead of like trying to be like Google Chrome, we are going to make Google Chrome. So if you like Google Chrome, I promise you, use Edge. Why? Because whatever extensions you have, they transfer right on over. You dig what I'm saying? Like whatever passwords, it transfer right on over. It's simple. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, Matt, what do you think about what I'm saying?
Basically, yeah, I was going to echo your sentiment just now because what Microsoft did about a year and a half to 2 years ago was they scrapped their original Microsoft Edge, which was based off of Internet Explorer. They evolved their their rendering engine, and they called it Edge HTML. So that's built into Windows 10. But because of developers not really developing for Microsoft Edge, the old legacy version, they ended up abandoning that project in favor of going with open source Chromium. So as you did rightfully state, Edge is literally Chromium, which is the rendering engine upon which Chrome is built on. So that's what Edge is. It's literally kind of like a version of Chrome, but with privacy focus in mind, given that it's coming from Microsoft. So unlike Google, Microsoft is not tracking you around the web and all that other stuff.
So let's find out about what's going on. Wow, you heard what he said. So Matt here is like a super duper Windows guy. Like he knows Windows like really, really well. Okay. So can you say that last statement again?
Yeah, so actually this is one of the things that Facebook is in the same boat as Google in terms of tracking folks around their web. And so unlike Google, Microsoft actually deliberately set out to make a more privacy and security focused browser that is literally the underpinnings. It's got the engine of Chromium open source, but not all the tracking and privacy stuff.
So you said,
on top of it.
yeah. So you said the part that I want you to focus on is you said Google specifically tracks you, right? Whatever, and you said Microsoft specifically doesn't. Is that essentially what you're saying?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Google is at its core an advertising company.
That's right.
I think they have gone down from like over 90% to maybe around 70%, if I'm not mistaken, of their revenue is still based on ads. So at their core, they're not an Android company or any other thing. They make their bread and butter through ads.
All right. So does that mean that we should ditch the Android phone altogether? Because essentially it's a Google phone, or can you still use Microsoft services on a Google phone?
That is slightly above my understanding.
Okay.
But I think, personally, my level of understanding would lead me towards an iPhone rather than...
In terms of privacy.
For that reason.
Yeah, in terms of privacy.
Exactly, yeah.
All right. So Now, Google Chrome is totally out of step with Safari, Edge, Firefox, shattering Google's privacy-first web claims, all of which should give you a serious reason to quit Chrome today. Last year, when Apple said it would force app developers to disclose the scale of data collected and linked to its users, all eyes turned to Google and Facebook. Many suspected that this level of scrutiny would shine an alarming light on the world's two most valuable data machines. And that's exactly what has happened. The issue for Google is that, unlike Facebook, it sits on both sides of the fence, guarding your privacy on one side with Android and its Mail, Docs, Drive ecosystem, and the advertising behemoth on the other, collecting $100 billion plus in ad dollars spent, the majority of its annual revenue. In that regard, it's really no different than Facebook. And so there is a little surprise that Apple's mandatory privacy labels have shown these two giant ads to be well out of step with their peers when it comes to collecting your data. If your business model is monetizing your users' information, then you want to collect as much as you reasonably can. And Google and Facebook don't disappoint. Google doesn't care about protecting user privacy. Privacy-centric DuckDuckGo warned this week, when Chrome's privacy label was finally revealed, they care about protecting their surveillance business model. God damn. If they really cared about privacy, they would just stop spying on the billions of people around the world. DuckDuckGo, which is another browser that you can use, right? Go to duckduckgo.com and use it as a search engine. Not a browser, it's a search engine, excuse me. DuckDuckGo focused on the data that Google collects, linked it to its users, but there's a different data set in the detail included below that's much more damaging to Google and which shows Chrome to be shockingly different to its rivals. Here we go. Anyway, anything you'd like to say so far as I continue?
No, it is just really staggering how.
Can you speak up?
Google, yeah, sorry. It's really staggering how Google and Facebook are so disproportionately just tracking. And I don't think people. I remember when I found out. I hope I'm not getting ahead of the story, but when I found out just how they literally track, like you go on Facebook.com, and then you leave there. You're on Yahoo. You're on YouTube,
yes.
You're on this. You're on that. They literally know every step of the way, like everything that you're looking at. It's just crazy. Your email, your text messages, everything.
Yes. As long as you're signed in. Anthony Universe, thank you for following. Uvarius, thank you for following. All right. So I've already warned that Gmail collects more data than other leading mail platforms. In its defense, Google pointed me at comments made by its CEO Sundar Pichai that, quote, "We don't use information in apps where you primarily store your personal content, such as Drive, Calendar, Mail, Photos, for advertising purpose, period." End of quote. You'll note that Chrome isn't on that list. So what he's saying is, no. We don't use personal information in your Gmail and in Drive and Calendar and Photos. But that nigga did not say nothing about Google Chrome.
Right.
That's where there's a lot of information. First of all, our financial information is on Google Chrome, right? Because you know how you can store your passwords and for your credit cards. Matter of fact, I just bought something. I just bought Forbes. I literally just bought Forbes to read this article. I had to put in my little, information. All right. But it is an app where you enter private and sensitive search terms and conduct private transactions. Now remember, your search history is probably one of the most personal things there, right? Right? What if your employer knew that you were searching for such and such? I have no idea. What if your wife knew you were searching for such and such and such? You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's one of those things where privacy, a lot of people you don't really realize how deep it goes and how much of an invasion it is until like articles like this kind of bring it to the forefront, because on one hand, you have a free service like any Google service that's free, and you're paying for it with your data. They're literally finding, like, I remember reading an article like a couple years ago outlining how much more information Google or Facebook has on a particular individual, I think they compared it to like other type of public institutions or even the government, and how it pales in comparison that Google has, because they amass data on you over the course of years, compared to like what the government knows. They know like 100 times more, something like that.
That's
like
right.
Crazy, just everything.
But what Chrome does have in common with Gmail is an avaricious and out-of-step approach to its data harvesting. Google took its time adding privacy labels, with the gap between app updates of some 3 months after the labels became mandatory. But now we can see the detail for Chrome, just as we did for Gmail. As I commented on Gmail, protecting user privacy is a binary philosophy. You either believe it's the right thing to do or you don't. And these new labels have made Google and Facebook privacy claims sound hollow. All right, so here it is. This is some sort of data linked to you, okay? So this is DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo, less than 1% data is linked to you, okay? Mozilla Firefox, you guys probably don't use that. See, I can't see it, but it says developers, advertising or marketing, contact info, analytics, app functionality. So, but 3.5 of the data is linked to you. Microsoft Edge, 3.5 is linked to you. Something history, it's blurry. I can't read it. Damn, I can't read it, y'all. Diagnostics, analytics. Damn, I can't read this. Apple Safari, 19%, which is he's getting more and more. Identifiers, genuine. I can't read this shit. I'm sorry. Google Chrome, 63.5. What in the hell? Look at all of this information, man, that's linked to you, man. I wish I could read this, man. Okay, user content, audio data, location analytics, location for app functionality, browsing history, user ID, usage, how much your usage data, whether it's product or analytics, browsing history.
What you're looking at.
Huh?
Yeah. I was looking up a list too to kind of help you.
Thank you, brother.
User content, search history, browsing history, identifiers, user data. What else we got here? Finance info, payment info, location, physical address, email address, name, phone number, contacts, user content, photos, videos, audio data, search history, browsing history, and the list goes on.
Wow. He said, be right back, uninstalling Chrome.
Honestly, it's a very good recommendation. Obviously, I have a bias, as Ali has already noted, but in this case, Microsoft Edge, it literally is the same flow and experience that you would get from Chrome.
It is.
But without all the added...
Yes.
Yeah.
Like if I could show you this actual computer here, it's on Chrome, but I also have Edge. And like Matt just said, it's like literally no difference. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not here just to be doom and gloom, and I'm actually presenting a solution. A solution would be to use Microsoft Edge. So as you see, it's hard to see what's there, but Matt read it, but it's definitely, it says 63.5% compared to 3.5%. You do the math.
Right. And I think even a lot of those things on Edge, you can still disable some. I don't know to what percentage, but they have some automatic things, and it's more kind of innocuous kind of data, but they do have some toggles to kind of even make it a little bit more privacy focused.
And so we understand that I'm not good at math, so I won't do the math. All right, just as with Gmail, Chrome collects your user ID, your device ID, in too many categories. Unlike Safari, Edge, Firefox, Chrome says it links all harvested data to devices and individuals. Safari collects but doesn't link browsing history. That's very important. It doesn't link browsing history, usage data, and location to users. Neither Firefox nor Edge link usage data, but Chrome says it collects all of those data fields and links all of them to individual user identities. This isn't complicated. The fact that Chrome collects more data than any other browser, yet is the only one that doesn't appear to collect any data that isn't linked to user identities. This is much more shocking illustration of the different philosophies at play. Chrome hasn't even attempted to protect its users' privacies in this way. This isn't about specific data fields. This is about an overreaching attitude to privacy. Basically, Google is like, y'all niggas ain't, y'all giving me all this information. Nigga, what? I'm going to give it to me all. You know what I'm saying? Until, you know what I'm saying? They're like, yo, fuck it. They're unabashed, bro. Data not linked to you. Data not linked to you. Google, zero. There's nothing there. Every little thing, y'all. Every little thing. Every little thing. So what happens when all, let's say, how about this? Here's a scary situation. So Google takes all of this information, your pictures, your contacts, your location, your messaging, your dick pics, all of that, right? It takes it all, your location, just everything, your financial information, your stocks, your to-do, what you're doing tomorrow, your search history, your favorite websites, your porn sites, all of that. Imagine it all. And it links it to you individually, right? What if that gets hacked? What if that gets hacked?
No. Before you even finish that rhetorical question, it's even worse than that. With the advent of all these smart home devices, the Google Homes, the Nest Wi-Fi, the Google cameras, so all of those, like, when I finally jumped into the smart home arena, I went with Amazon. But Google's kind of security cameras and their like doorbell and their
Nest,
their,
Google Home,
cameras,
yeah,
all of that stuff. They have facial recognition, so they can recognize you by your face as you walk up. They can see you inside your house, listening to everything happening on your Google Home or whatever. They not only can see you, they can hear you for every single conversation, and all that stuff has been proven to be hackable. So even if Google says, oh, we don't this and this and that, blah, 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 it's like you got a camera in your room showing everything, sleeping, waking, conversations. It's out there.
Wow. Man, I have one of those Google things. My wife be like, she like, turn that shit off. Because, like, you know, you be like, okay, Google. See, look, everything just, you know what I'm saying? All my shit just went, right? But if that's all I have to say for it to listen, that means it's always listening.
Exactly.
That means it's always listening.
And a lot of these things have been hacked.
Yes, the city.
Microsoft, Google, Apple, all been guilty of.
Wait, hold on one second, Matt. Hold that, because it's going to go away. The city said, you ever shop for something online and then go on IG and there's an ad for it? Yes, but how about this?
Right.
How about this? You ever been chopping it up with your homies and you talk about something and then 30 minutes later you see an advertisement for it? That shit is creepy, man. That shit happens with me and Brett. Me and Brett be chopping it up, talking or whatever, Sterling. And next thing you know, it'd be like, you know what I mean? Recommended this or recommended that. And it'd be just what we were talking about. But anyway, Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because Facebook is in WhatsApp, Messenger, Facebook, everywhere. So they have their tentacles into literally, and they can also access text messages. When they ask you, do you approve this and that, blah, blah, blah. With recent updates, it's gotten a lot more tight. But they literally had access to your whole text messaging thread, everything. That's since been blocked, but it's been like, when they started, Facebook especially has been super grimy with like the way they would just kind of behind the scenes, your phone calls, your texts, everything having nothing to do with Facebook.
Yeah.
So they would have a complete profile. Wow. Complete profile, who you talk to, how much you talk to, where you are, because they can see you're standing inside of Walmart and you're searching on your phone to try to get a cheaper price for the item, or you're going to go on Amazon. They have your whole situation just from start to finish, from end to end. It's really eerie when you think about it. Super eerie. But yeah, these guys, thankfully there's a lot of antitrust situations going on, but that stuff is largely a joke because you have a bunch of Well, a lot of fellas who are up in age trying to talk about technology that a lot of us don't even understand.
Yes, yes,
So new.
yes.
And they have no clue what they're talking
Yo,
about.
we were just talking about that the other day. We were talking about when the big tech came and the House of Representatives and the Senate had to, like, you know what I mean, grill them with questions and stuff.
Yeah.
Yo, how out of touch our own government is with technology is almost scary. It's scary.
It is.
Like, bro, you're the senator of the United States of America. You should, you need to ask better questions. You know what I'm saying? Than what you're asking. It's very embarrassing. You know what I mean?
I mean, the sad thing is a lot of these folks are 50, 60 and older, 70. They have no clue what Google is, and they refer it to, like, something that, because I was just thinking about it today. It's so weird. The kids these days, they grow up with the iPad in their hands. But, back in my day, that wasn't available until, was it high school, college, whatever, I don't know. But, yeah.
So, all right, so basically we're talking about a philosophy, right? Google is not even trying to give a fuck. You dig what I'm saying? It's like, it's one thing if you trying to massage me, but they're not even trying to finesse you. It's straight, no Vaseline.
Yeah, and it's the same. Facebook is in the same boat, and Facebook and Apple, I know they recently had a very public feud when Apple, was it iOS, is it, I don't even know, version 13 or something, where they updated their privacy stuff, forcing companies like Facebook and Google to disclose, and Facebook opened up so many ads trying to say that Apple is trying to attack the free press and this and that and blah, blah, blah. But, these guys, they've been kind of unchecked. The good thing, though, there are a lot of alternatives. There's, like, the Tor. I think Tor is a browser. Of course, Microsoft Edge is the one I recommend because it kind of goes hand in hand with Chrome. But there's a few other ones. Unfortunately,
Chrome is a good product, though. Chrome is a good product. Yeah.
It is a good product. Thankfully, now we actually do have some solid competition because, unfortunately, for years, Internet Explorer and Microsoft Edge, the legacy Edge, they just couldn't keep up with the web
sites for
traffic,
divorce
so
attorneys.
everyone was going to Chrome. But now, Chrome and Edge, they're literally identical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo,
yeah.
I want to play this. I want to play this commercial. Maybe like now when we see this commercial, it gives a different understanding, man.
Today. I browsed 8 sites for divorce attorneys today.
My login for everything is Pauline at paulinefood.com.
I love working with you. Me too. Red heart emoji. Pink heart emoji. Yellow heart emoji. Blue heart emoji. I hate Leo. Puke emoji. Puke emoji.
I am currently reading an article titled 10 Ways to Keep Sweaty Hands from Holding You Back.
My home is in 1,000 feet.
My heart rate is currently 150.
Ooh. What about that data? What about that data? The data of your body analytics. You know what I mean? Your heart rate. You know what I mean? Your sleep, your rest, how much you're walking. What about that?
That stuff right there is pretty. I've been a little leery about, like, especially like all these DNA services like Ancestry and 23andMe. The police have access to that type of data to do, what do they call it, where they do some type of DNA testing to where they can, familial DNA, whatever testing, to where they can narrow it down based on a relative who has done it, and they can figure. But yeah, I mean, all that stuff is, there's this new company, this new health provider called Ford. I don't know if you heard of them, but they do a lot of things based on the DNA and all that other stuff. But yeah, to me, I've stayed away from a lot of the Google products as a result. Like,
I was actually just talking about like the Fitbit and the iWatch.
Fitbit, yeah. No, it's like we have all this personal data, and they do harvest it, and Google does attach it to location, attach it to a lot of things that are personal to you. And so, yeah, like, unfortunately, Google now owns Fitbit, and, they make some good products, but I would look elsewhere. But there's not that much. The smartwatch market is not too it's either Apple and everybody else basically. But
So
yeah,
Google
they have
owns
all that.
Fitbit? Wow.
Yep.
All right, you don't become a multi-billion-dollar company. If you need to go, just go, okay? If you need to go, okay?
Gotcha.
All right, you don't become a multi-billion-dollar company without grabbing as much data as you can, then monetize, says Jack Sisso, Ivan Thornton Trump. It's like there's some sort of crossroads, well, maybe a three-way intersection. Collect all the data you can, collect all the data you need, or collect the bare minimum. The companies in the bare minimum category are few and far between. Why does a web browser need my financial data? Asked security researcher Sean Wright. I think that says it all, really. I really struggle to think of a suitable justification for that. Google will argue that you can elect to provide your financial data when you choose to transact, but it's yet more data collected under the guise of convenience. Google didn't offer any comments in response to this story, but it did insist that the justification for its data collection is to provide features and functions. For example, tailoring searches to a user's location. Again, this misses the stark difference between an in-session function and collecting linked user data, as suggested by its privacy label. Google's viewpoint that it only collects the data needed to provide its service. It's the same rationale WhatsApp gave me for collecting my own treasure trove of data. The issue with that reasoning, though, is that competing apps that collect significantly less data offer similar features and the same levels of performancy and security. Clearly, not every user will provide every data field on the privacy label to Google. They're intended as worst case. This is data that could be collected. This is why comparisons are so critical. No privacy label should be taken in isolation. It also is wrong to only compare mainstream apps with privacy-first specialists, Chrome versus DuckDuckGo or WhatsApp versus Signal, for example. Comparing Google, Apple, and Microsoft makes more sense. Looking across both email apps and browsers for three tech giants does not paint a pretty picture for Google. Bear in mind this before you install its apps on your phone. Wow. So the big three email apps, you know what I'm saying? Apple Mail. This is the data linked to you. It's the content for Apple Mail. All it is the contact information and identifiers. Microsoft Outlook, it's a bit more. Google Gmail, all of that. Purchases, contact information, user ID, location. Look, Microsoft Outlook doesn't use location. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Okay, another one. Here's the browsers. Apple Safari, three things Apple Safari links to you. User content, identifiers, and diagnostic. We need diagnostics, of course. Microsoft Edge, essentially the same three. History, identifiers, diagnostic. Google Chrome, treasure trove, financial information. User content, user data, and other data, whatever the hell other data is. So there it is, guys. Just wanted to share that with you. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Bucky brought up a good point in the comments about the link between all this data they're harvesting and AI and all that, and folks trying to play God. And when you think about it, it's so eerie because they literally know the second that you were born, where you were born, what type of diseases, like all your medical history, your whole family history from the day you were born to the day you die. Wow. The conversations that you had, because a lot of these folks were literally spying on people through a lot of these recording devices. And a lot of it was, quote-unquote, anonymous data, but some of it wasn't, to where they could actually link it toward, because of a human, the broken link in the chain is when a human is listening to it, and someone says, okay, Google, remind me to, or make a note that something private, my social, and then now a human has access to that. But, and so it's just interesting because this machine learning, they call it, where they aggregate all this information and they can make predictions based on literally billions of users' habits.
Wow. They say like even with social media updates and posts, they know how people are going to emotionally respond to certain things just based on Twitter and Facebook posts and stuff,
Yeah.
all this information is being used by AI, you know?
Yeah. It's really interesting how we just kind of became accustomed to allowing them in, opening. It's like you have a complete stranger. Oh, welcome in. Come right on into my house. Here's where I sleep. Here's my dirty dishes. Here's my dirty laundry. Here's my secrets and skeletons in the closet.
Here's my safe.
Here's everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Here's my code to my safe.
Damn.
It's like, but it's one of those things where trade off for convenience. Now we have to ask ourselves, is it worth the price? Is it worth the cost? And I think the fortunate thing is, as you said, providing solutions and alternatives. There are other things, but it's like everybody just goes to Google. Like, I get laughed at when I talk about Bing, you know, but people just Google it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, maybe we can start using DuckDuckGo. We can start using Bing.
Yeah.
There's a few other ones out there too. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Because me personally, I would have to
slowly.
slowly wean off of Google. Because, like, to me, Google Photos is amazing. God, I love Google Photos. You know what I'm saying? I like Google Drive. You know, I don't mind Google Drive per se. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna change my Chrome though for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, the good thing is back in the day, like you'd have to manually input passwords and this and that, but now they can copy over all your passwords from Chrome to Edge, and you don't miss a beat.
Yeah.
All your extensions work. You don't have to worry about compatibility.
Yep.
Yeah, and OneDrive is good. There are good alternatives to Google Drive and all that other stuff. So, I think what's going to happen though, if the government could catch up with their legislation in about 10 years or something, slowly, but eventually I think Google's going to start having to pay for their services. You have a free version that gives you virtually zero features, then you're going to have to pay a fee to actually get the convenience that we now enjoy.
Interesting.
You know, because yeah. So a lot of people, because, you know, Microsoft charges, like, a lot of the Google services are completely free, and Microsoft charges an arm and a leg for the same service.
For the same service. Yeah, and
Apple especially, like, there's a reason why Apple Siri sucks, because they're not harvesting personal data. They're using machine learning that's not on the device and all this other stuff, so they got to go the long, hard way, whereas Google just says, well, I'll just take it all. And figure it out. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Thank you for providing some context to this. You know what I mean? You're essentially our resident tech guy, you and Bears. I appreciate it, Matt. Anything you want to say on the way out?
Let's just stay safe and switch the edge.
All right, brother.
Alrighty.
All right, peace, man.
Goodbye.
Oh, man. What y'all think? Very knowledgeable call, man. Super dope caller. Yeah, that's what's up, man. Does a VPN work to block tracking? That's a good question. That's actually a good question. Does anybody know? Does a VPN use to block tracking? Not really. VPNs track you too. They say you should definitely use a VPN. They say you tripping if you're not using a VPN. If somebody want to call in and answer that, that's what's up. So is using a VPN, will that help with tracking?
So the answer to that is yes and no. It definitely and absolutely depends on a lot of different things. One is your internet service provider. The other thing is the VPN you actually choose. A lot of VPNs store your data, or they cache your browsing history on a hard drive. And some of them will delete it after a period of time. Others, though, will they don't use hard drives. So you want to go for a VPN that uses RAM. So as soon as you end your session, all of your stuff is gone. So some that do store it on hard drives, they're susceptible to government agencies and other people actually gaining access to it. But there's a lot of nodes along the way, your ISP, the VPN that you use, and the browser you're using and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Wow.
But I'm not an expert in that field. But yeah, I do know that not all VPNs are the same, and some do sell your data like blatantly. Others will say they protect it and hide it, but if they're storing it on a hard drive, it's susceptible to infiltration. And then those that actually use RAM as storage are the best ones, because once you exit your session, then your data's gone. So that's what I would say. Make sure you look into the VPN that you're using to make sure that they don't store your data at all. That's RAM. It's stored in RAM.
All right. Any other questions? Basically, just stay on the phone, man. I'm pretty sure people got some good questions, man. Any other questions?
I'll do my best.
Yep. Let me think of some. Okay, what about having an iPhone but using Google products on the iPhone? Using Gmail on the iPhone, essentially using Chrome, I don't know. But is there any solace there? Can I still use Google search, or you know what I mean? Like, is there any, you know what I mean? Is there a difference between the, you know what I mean, the apps on the platforms?
There's a slight difference. So, for instance, Google Chrome on iOS is not really Google Chrome. It's basically the Safari web rendering engine, I believe, the WebKit, basically with a Chrome interface and everything like that. So when and because you do sign into your Google account, though, they do gain certain permissions and access. But what Apple is doing with each iteration of iOS, they are kind of making the granular access, because literally when you would sign into these services like Facebook and Google, once you leave the app and sign out, I forget the term. I was shocked when I found out the technical term for like how they can track you on your whole app. You're making a phone call, you're on YouTube, you don't have to be in the app anymore. They just have literally everything you do. So, but with the newer versions of iOS, they definitely clamp you down on that. So it's a lot more difficult to actually achieve that.
Damn. Are there any cell phones that are essentially like encrypted cell phones? Like there has is there any cell phones that focus on privacy? Like that's the selling point. You know what I mean?
Yes. BlackBerry is still one of the holdouts that is doing that. They are using Android, but they have a modified version of Android that they went through some lengths to actually certify. So they closed a lot of the loopholes and backdoors and stuff like that to make it business-grade security and stuff. But there's a couple other ones out there, but BlackBerry is the first one that comes to mind. I don't even think they're making phones anymore. I think they went out of business, but for a while there, they were the last holdout. But I don't think there's a business class or enterprise level security-focused phone out there that meets that requirement. I think the closest thing someone can maybe get to that right now in terms of a mainstream phone would be the Surface Duo.
Oh, yeah?
As you know, isn't really ready. Not really ready for prime time yet.
Yeah,
but,
I got one.
Unlike Samsung or OnePlus or all these other fellas who have their own type of tracking software and stuff in their phones, Microsoft isn't in that same business. And once again, like they did with Edge, they're not tracking you in that way.
So to me, it seems to be a what's the word? A contradiction, right? Because WhatsApp supposedly is super encrypted, right? It's like so encrypted that even like government people use it because they know it's encrypted, right? But how is it encrypted? Meaning, quote unquote safe, right? How is it encrypted? But WhatsApp is owned by Facebook. Like I don't like. Can you square that with me? Like that shit don't make no sense to me, because Facebook obviously like they're into collecting data, and they collect a lot of data. So how does it work with WhatsApp?
So I believe what happens in that scenario is that when you have end-to-end encryption, basically the key is stored on the physical device, and so Facebook in this case wouldn't have direct access to it. So they don't have direct access to your actual conversations, but they can have access to basically everything else in that case.
What does that mean? Everything else?
Oh, like the same way they were like spying on you, whether it's like through Instagram or the Facebook app or stuff like that. So they can see location data. It's not as easy as it used to be. But
Oh,
on
okay.
Android,
They can see your contacts. Like,
exactly.
can they see when and where you made those WhatsApp phone calls?
I don't know specifically, but it's
Right.
definitely and absolutely possible. Yeah, all the related information.
Yeah, because they said like Donald Trump and Jared Kushner and Roger Stone and the niggas was using WhatsApp.
Yeah, I mean the way the encryption works is very similar to like using a service like OnePass or OnePassword or what are those passwords? Those password managers. They don't have access to any of your like data in that way because the keys are stored. They're not stored on the internet or anything like that. So the encryption is end to end. It is hackable, but if you have 256-bit encryption, it's difficult. You have to be sophisticated.
What about the idea? Remember, niggas was like, "Yo, you can't hack Apple. You can't hack apples. You can't hack Macs." Remember that was a wives' tale or a theory. Was that true? And then is it still true if it was? No. Excuse me. I need to take that back. That's false. People didn't say that. They said that they don't get viruses. That's what they said. My fault. Excuse me. Yeah, they said they don't get viruses.
It was never true, and it certainly isn't true now. Apple does have, I think, a slight advantage, I would say, on the kernel level because it's built on Unix. So Apple has a fork of Unix, basically, which is a fundamentally different system than the one Windows uses. And so there are some inherent advantages from a security point of view, but when you look at the stack and you look at the user level, there's all kind of vulnerabilities and susceptibilities that make it equal to that of Windows. The thing that happened with Apple back in the day is people would conflate the fact that Apple Macs in particular, they had a market share of less than 5%.
Exactly.
So it didn't make sense for hackers to target a platform when they could target 90% of the market on Windows.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there's nothing in. So the desktop grade operating systems, there's nothing inherently more secure about them, but that is a very different system than like a phone operating system like iOS and Windows Phone, I would say. Android is a little different, but yeah.
Do you remember when celebrities' iClouds was getting hacked?
Yeah.
Can you explain to the people what was happening during that time period?
I think a lot of them probably fell to some phishing attacks. And I think what happened, though, iCloud was not very secure, and they were doing a lot of brute force attacks, I think, as well. So I think those are the two most common scenarios.
What were they doing?
That would happen.
What were the hackers? What sort of data were they getting, and what were they doing with the data?
I don't remember specifically, but I do know iCloud did have some vulnerabilities for like certain type of attacks, like brute force. But
I heard they took pictures. I heard they took pictures, and especially compromising pictures from celebrities, and then they posted them on the internet.
Yeah. Well, you know specifically back in the day there was a little loophole in terms of like getting into someone's iCloud. All you needed was a little bit of information.
Yeah.
And you could do the whole password reset.
Yeah, remember?
And
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to incriminate ourselves, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, we there was times where we would have to figure this shit out, right? You know what I mean? Like
exactly for customers, yeah. So, but yeah, there were people that did use those type of techniques for malicious intent. And so yeah. Yeah. And there's a lot of things too. I think a lot of iCloud at that time, I know they hosted some of it on
Amazon.
Microsoft Azure.
Oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
and
Yeah,
others
yeah.
on
Yeah.
Amazon.
Uh-huh.
No, it's a combination of both. Yeah, AWS and Azure. So, though there can be vulnerabilities on the server side as well that people may be able to exploit.
Wow, it's fucking fascinating, man.
It is. Yeah.
Trying to think of more questions, man.
But yeah, I recommend using a password manager. If you are switching to Microsoft Edge, it does travel with you. So here's just a little tip. You can use a service like, I think it's called 1Password or 1Pass or LastPass and stuff like that. But if you're using Microsoft Edge, you can get it on desktop, Mac, Windows, and you also can get it on mobile, so iOS and Android. And so what Microsoft has is a built-in password manager. And so you can take advantage of the password manager, and you can change your default password manager on iPhone and Android to go through a third-party password manager. In this case, you can use the Microsoft Authenticator. So you can house all of your passwords in there, because a lot of times people, and it's always good to use two-factor authentication and stuff like that in terms of security, but it helps to use like Microsoft Authenticator /Edge, and then you can have more complex passwords that you don't have to remember, because it'll remember it for you.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah,
and then if you switch to Edge, you could avoid all the tracking of Google, and kind of you are both more secure and more private doing that.
Okay.
Protect yourself. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, brother. Thank you, man. Hopefully we provided not only information, but also a solution. You know what I mean? Practical solutions, man.
Right. Absolutely.
That's what's up, man.
Yes, sir.
Yo, shoot, do you have a Cash App? Maybe somebody might want to send a donation your way for helping them.
I do, but that's okay. I think later I'll maybe plug a few things, but
all right.
in the projects. But for now, I'm happy that you're doing it, keeping up the good fight.
All right, for sure, Matt. Thank you, man. You called in at the right time, man. You know what I'm saying? You was in tune with the spirit. I was sending that out there. Matt, call in.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
man,
saying?
The law of attraction.
Yeah,
The
that
law
was
of attraction. If you
yeah.
haven't
All
read it,
praise
go
to
ahead and read
Allah,
the
man.
secret.
Yup.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
cool, brother.
There you go.
All right, man.
All right.
All right, peace.
Okay, bye.
Man, that was wild, bro. Bro called in like he just so happened to be there, man. That shit is wild, man. He was tracking me. Yeah. That nigga was hacking and tracking me, man, using that Microsoft Pass, all that shit. That's what it was, man. That's what it was, man. Yeah, man. I'm off the Fitbits and shit, man, because I'm like, man, look. That's a lot of information, man. Find out when you sleep and all that kind of shit. Find out your heart rate and all that. Like, damn. What your insurance company would love that information. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So basically the story is, man, it was a good conversation, Esco. So basically, we're just talking about just the whole philosophy behind Google Chrome is like, fuck y'all niggas. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it is. Like, man, look, like, nigga, what you gonna do about it? That's basically their motto, right? Like, everybody else is like, they finessing behind the scenes and they trying to get away with what they can get away with. They pull the shit back. But Google's like, nigga, what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna do nothing. You still gonna use it. And that's the thing. Like, that's what we gotta be watching out for. They literally have, will it be on YouTube later? It's on YouTube now, actually. It's on YouTube now, actually. You know what I'm saying? It's on YouTube now. It's on YouTube now. Yeah, there it is. Make sure you I got 2 up there. Make sure Circle 7 Media with just I don't know, just go to it and then see if there's been a live or upload today or tomorrow. If you go, because I got 2 of them, I need to delete one of them. It's an old one. If you go to one of them and you seen there ain't been an update or whatever in the past like 3-4 months, that's not it. Okay, go to the other one. You know what I mean? But yeah, thank you, Kilroy. Yup. Man, anybody would like something to say about that? I mean, oh shit, my stream is off. Oh well. All right, that's gonna be the last topic for today, guys. You know what I mean? So the phone lines is open. All right. So just real quick, we talked about Christopher Dorner. Just a little situation where people trolled. His billboard got put back up. Our first story was the movie The Spook That Sat by the Door. That movie's gonna get remade by Lee Daniels, and we were looking at that. And then we did this one here, Google Chrome. We more so just I did a rundown. The basic idea is they're leading the industry. It's almost like how much information Google records is astronomical. It's not even cute. Like basically Google Chrome is out for all information. You know what I'm saying? All information. So the idea is to use a Microsoft Edge, okay? And so it's basically their business philosophy. Like Blicky said, he goes, their product is free, but their service is free, but you're the product, or something he said. You know what I mean? Like you're you know what I mean? They're coming up on you. So that's pretty much it, man. It says as I finish reading, you might decide that you don't like your browser analyzing searches and collecting your data to target with your ads. Oh, let me give you another example. Donald Trump, his campaign in 2016 was a targeted campaign in which they used a company called Cambridge Analytica. Cambridge Analytica was Steve Bannon and a bunch of unsavory criminals, right? And what happened was Cambridge Analytica, they used stolen data. They used, or illegal data, let's say illegal data that they weren't supposed to use, that was harvested from Facebook, Google, and other means, right? And Cambridge Analytica, then they took this information, right, which was Google search history, browser data, YouTube, all of that, locations, all of that. And then Cambridge Analytica illegally got information that they're not supposed to get, that's very sensitive. Then they went to the Trump campaign and crafted an election campaign that essentially won them the election. That they ended up also giving to the Russians to help them use misinformation. Okay? Very, very, yeah, yup, Cambridge. I remember that. Stole data from Facebook from us. Yes. So what's very interesting is Donald Trump's key his key legislation or his key theme during the 2016 was what? Build that wall. Why you think it was built that wall? They went over the data and saw that these people in middle America, they're looking for penis enhancing. They're you know what I mean? They're looking for, you know, how to protect yourself, guns, right? And so you can develop a psychological profile of the people. Okay, they're beta males, undersexed, lonely, fearful, very fearful of immigrants, right? So boom. So what you end up doing is you end up crafting a campaign for that. And then that's how he got all of those people to come out. They use key sensitive data. And that's what happened. And they're still doing that stuff to this day. Very interesting. So, you know, that information was used in a campaign, and, you know, and that shit crazy? Isn't that crazy? That's called Cambridge Analytica. Matter of fact, Analytica. Okay, what is the Cambridge Analytica scandal? Islam. There we go.
I do feel responsible for it. It's something that I regret. He's an upper class Etonian who expects people to follow him wherever he goes. Alexander Nix is with me, and he starts with this sort of like razzle dazzle. Acted on for MMT, MI6, done a good job, brilliant, and beaten and whatnot, and I'm a posh British man, you should trust me with all my money. Most of America.
And people have no idea that their data is being taken in this
We don't work with Facebook data, we don't have Facebook data. We do use Facebook as a platform to advertise, as do all brands and most agencies, or all agencies I should say.
From when I was there, that's just fundamentally not true, because we spent $1 million harvesting tens of millions of Facebook profiles. The company itself was founded on using Facebook data. We would know what kinds of messaging you would be susceptible to and where you're going to consume that. And then how many times do we need to touch you that in order to change how you think about something? You know, it is a full service propaganda machine.
All right, y'all. Been a great show today. Yo, More King, let's do a recap tomorrow, man. You know what I mean? What I'll do is we'll do a rap. I'll do a battle rap 7. Maybe I'll do a episode before the main show. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow is Tuesday. Yeah, you know what I mean? So maybe we'll get one in maybe like around 6 p.m. or something. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll record it and then I'll upload it on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Yep. All right, man. Thank you, More King. Thank you, everybody that came in the building tonight. Today was a really good show, man. Shout out to everybody out there, man. Everybody that called in, wanted to call in. Shout out to all the new people. People like Al Brewer and Mood Control. Make sure you guys follow, man. I really appreciate that, man. I'm live every day at 7 p.m. So, Esco, if you missed this conversation, we have this conversation every night, okay? 7 p.m. 7 p.m. on the West Coast. That's 10 p.m. on the East Coast, okay? 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. every night at 7. Thank you, Cliff. I appreciate that, man. I really appreciate it when you say that, man. Yeah. I'm just, got a brand, got to say it. Shout out to Sun Tzu. All right, y'all. It's all good. It's all good. I love y'all. Be good. Be straight. If you want to be part of the Discord, text Discord to that number there, and y'all be a part of it. See y'all, tomorrow. You guys be safe. Be good. Peace, man.